Thank you for coming. Pasha was saying that it should be like a boxing match and we should wear the costumes, but if we take our t-shirts off, we're probably not going to survive. So
Yeah.
not will be the best
Well, we can do it
outcome.
like a boxing match in tank tops, which is slightly better.
Right.
Yeah, so you know the topic of the talk, I guess, because you chose us over whatever amazing people are there. Should we introduce ourselves?
Yeah, that's Pasha.
And this is Anton.
Right.
You can find us on Twitter and anywhere else.
This is the most important information you need to know about us.
Yeah.
We used to do some database-driven development in the past.
Yes,
both.
because it was long ago, but yes, we did. We are kind of old. I don't know. How long are you in the IT?
25 years?
So together we are like 45 years in IT, maybe 43. Our joint IT is very old.
All right.
Let's jump.
Let's go. What are we talking about today? So it's about relational databases. We are not covering the use cases where you are using NoSQL or some specific databases.
Key value databases, it's not our topic at all.
Right.
We also are speaking about mostly application first approach, not this database driven, but we'll cover it a little bit.
Right.
And obviously box products.
Do you know what box products are?
What's box product? Who knows?
No, it's probably not so well-known term, but it's not something specific. It's when you sell a service and you bundle a database with that, so it's like a self-sufficient product that the company or the customer installs on premises.
We have another example. Team City is a box product. You ship it and you can use any database which your client has as a database of your choice.
Or any issue tracker that you install in your company, like Bugzilla maybe.
Yes, Bugzilla. Who knows Bugzilla? Yeah.
Just a few hands.
Yeah, like
that shows.
Yes.
All right. So,
why do we in general need migrations?
like if your database is primary, like when someone just provided the database to you, you probably just need to know what version you are running in, and so that your development version of your application is kind of in sync, right?
Yeah, you just need to know what's happening in the database. You need to be sure that.
And I'm not managing the version of the database myself. I just need to get in sync with that.
And they should, like, your DBA should synchronize somehow, right? Like, I don't know, John made a migration, I didn't know anything about it, so I made a different migration, and now everything is broken. This is how it helps in DB first approach, but in application first, sorry, I'm very bad at hitting enter. In application first approach, it's what most of you probably do. It's like you have migrations built into your application. You have Liquibase or Flyway, and when you start up the application, it updates the database somehow.
Or, as we said, you're shipping the product to the client and you want it to be self-sufficient, and the only thing that the client needs to do in order to upgrade the version of the software that you ship is to run the migrations, because usually they have a preference for how to manage the database, and they don't reinstall the database with every update, right?
They also probably have their own update policy. We do not even update between major versions. We only update when the second service pack to the major version is released. And this is why we can't really control how they migrate their databases.
I like the hats there.
Yes.
Perfect.
It should go nice.
Yes.
Like clowns and noses, right?
Yep, exactly. That's your turn.
So, essentially, if you don't use one of the popular tools, you'll probably have to invent one. I actually worked in such a project. We had our own migration tool in Bash. It kind of worked. It reminds me of Flyway in a way. We also have a sequential of migration files, but we'll talk about it a bit later.
Indeed. Did anyone have to implement your own migration tool? Yeah, see,
so some of people had to.
Indeed.
But I like that people are still coming and that we are still at the very beginning of the talk.
Indeed.
It actually was your turn.
Nice. Okay. So since you see there are some like
Now you should
boxing
you should
background,
scan
you should scan this QR code.
it. Because the whole thing is very interactive.
It-
We'll go in rounds like in boxing match, and it's any boxing match. We'll have judges, right?
And judges are you.
And judges are you. So please scan it. Questions will open one by one.
And please vote so based on the information that you see on the slides, not based on the tool that you are using at your
Yeah.
project.
We hope to get more or less objective results from you, right?
Indeed. Okay, let's see. There are more people coming, so that
Should we repeat it again for newcomers? Folks, please scan the QR code. It will be interactive. There will be questions.
on every voting we actually have a QR
Yes.
code again.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. We'll just
Yeah, so
jump
you
back
won't
to it.
miss it.
Our use case. Let's start from a very simple use case. If you see that it's broken, do not raise your hand. So the idea is
A
we
toy
have-
example. A toy example.
It's a
basically.
toy example, yes. It's a full name. We have a full name in our database of a user, of an entity, whatever, of a person. And we decided for whatever business reasons we have to split this full name into first name and last name. It's just easier to fill forms automatically this way. So we do a very simple migration. Like what we want to do is to split name into first and last.
What if your application needs to access, I don't know, the data the old way?
Well, this is why it's the bad way to do it, and you are supposed to do it this way. You should obviously preserve the previous column. I hope that all of you actually know it, but just in case, we are trying to always preserve backward compatibility for at least one version in our database migration, so the old version of our application, which was not shut down yet, could still work with our data.
So how could we implement that?
Well, let's
Let's-
talk about change formats then,
Indeed.
and you are the first one to talk.
Perfect. That's my round. So very simple. We have a migration file where we have some SQL statements to add a few columns to our existing table and write some logic how update the data. Looks nice. I mean,
It
just
is
readable.
very clean. It is
Very clear. There's nothing special, just the SQL, right?
Is it the only thing you can do?
Well, for some special things when we need some conditions, maybe. Like,
Yeah, so it's kind of synthetic, right?
yeah,
Or
this one is just exactly the previous example. How would you do that with Java? But I don't know, for whatever reason, I would write this code instead of just SQL.
Yes.
What's the reason there?
But
And
you could use this approach for, I don't know, external dependencies
like
or whatever.
scripting in Java, pretty nice. I mean, Java is a modern language. Anyone is using Java migrations with Flyway? A few
Oh,
people. A few
quite a
people.
few, actually.
You probably have a reason, right? And what are the reasons to do that? So maybe you have some complex data transformation logic there, or maybe you're working with binaries. I used to have one use case where I had to transform images
Inside database.
inside database.
Nice. Awful.
Yeah, that was
Don't
a
do
nice
it.
project. I still have flashbacks of that. And maybe some or complex conditional logic where that you have to implement checking some for precondition and then like doing the migration, implementing the logic, or external interactions when someone brought you some data, maybe in a file, maybe in a CSV file, and then you're doing this migration with the help of external information. Might be a file, might be something else.
Yeah, I actually like your simple approach, but let me show you my simple approach. My approach is probably even simpler. I don't even need to know SQL itself. I can just write a bunch of XML with nice auto-completions in my ID, whatever ID I use. And I do it like this, change set, add column. Yes, when I call update with some magical functions, I still need a bit of SQL, but still everything is automated for me.
Looks like a solid 90s approach.
You don't like XML, don't you?
Yeah, it
Well-
doesn't feel modern to me.
It's not modern. SQL is not modern either, let's admit it. I mean, it's probably even older. But if you don't like XML, you can use YAML. And notation is almost exactly the same. And it's a modern format. It's in Kubernetes. It's everywhere.
Well, until you write no as a value.
Well, if we need to write no as a value, we can fall back to JSON. JSON, I mean, it's beautiful, it's structured.
Doesn't
it's
fit on the screen even. Even the third of it.
I mean, we all have our downsides, don't we? Well, we also can do SQL, almost as you. But, well, we need to put some meta information in it. Liquibase formatted SQL and change set name. You do not have change set name at all anywhere. But
that's in the file.
Yeah, in the file name. Yeah, kinda. Here, Liquibase formatted SQL is just for Liquibase to know that it is. And the name of the file can be whatever I want. It should not be hard-coded. I think it's a beautiful idea.
Okay, what if you need to implement some complex logic for migrations?
This is a complex question. Because there is actually a crazy Java DSL for Liquibase. I won't even show it. But there is also official Groovy implementation. And it is very simple. It's almost like writing SQL inside your Groovy files. Groovy, again, sounds like 90s, I know, well, 2000s probably. But you can theoretically put ifs and whens and so on in there.
Okay, sounds legit.
But yeah, it's quite a bit of dependencies, I know. And now it's round. Shall we? Oh, I don't know how to show it again.
I can do that. Yes, I can do that. Yes.
Yes, you're there.
Perfect. If you missed
Spot
the
on.
QR code,
come on, help me. I mean, they're killing me. Okay, don't listen to me.
Flyway power.
Flyway power. We are there? Are we there? Did everyone vote? You can come closer if you can't scan the QR code, by the way. They're trying to salvage their Liquibase.
Someone is changing.
Yes, probably.
Making up their mind.
But no, I'm not there yet.
Okay. All right, that was the... No, I missed it. Okay, yeah, because that's the different screen. So, did we solve a problem with our first attempt?
Yeah, so this was our idea, right? Just to split the name into first and last. But Anton, we really can't do this. Who knows why we shouldn't do this? Okay.
Why this could be faulty? What could go wrong?
Go wrong here?
Any guesses?
Differences in what?
Later on, if someone changes first name, the name is still the same.
Oh, it is also so valid. The idea is if someone changes last name or first name, that we can't reliably change the full name anymore.
That's an interesting use case, but then it probably should be handled by the different process in the system altogether.
Probably you're right. But actually, if you think about it, we are in Spain. People here use sometimes several last names, sometimes several first names. People in Asia usually have different order of their names. There are also mononyms somewhere in Africa and other societies where people have just a single name. What was the Arabic naming convention? Yeah. They're also different. So you should never try to split full name into its components because it's impossible. Like, naming is really hard. I would even dare to say that if you have a form on your site that allows people to enter their names there should be only one field, full name, because you can't possibly handle all the possible variations of how it works. So Houston,
we have a problem. What should we do then?
Well, we obviously should roll back all the thing altogether. And here we are coming to my strength, I guess. Because Liquibase can and will roll back things for you.
How do you do that?
Well, it's very simple. So, for example, we have one change set here with two changes, one of them adding columns and one of them updating columns, if we would have the second change here, it would just create rollback automatically, like automatically, I would even say. But since we add updates, we should explicitly say that when we need to roll back this migration, we can just have a rollback. And this is how we roll back. We just drop 2 columns. And this is the beauty of it. We have explicit fallbacks if implicit one is not generated. How do you handle this?
Sounds a little bit like magic. We don't really believe in this kind of thing. You say it's a lie.
What do you mean? What do you mean? I just
In practice, you would do a forward migration instead, or even rely on the backups of the database.
I mean, practice can be different, I think. This is what you wanted to say. But this is, again, round.
Wait.
Oh,
Okay,
wait,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, like let's check, because we talked to Liquibase folks who develop Liquibase. How many of you are actually doing the backwards migrations or rollbacks or ever
Oh, okay.
using database migration tool?
Okay,
There should be at least one always, but this time we had
I saw
two.
it second hand for a second.
Yeah, there is always an
So
outlier.
some people actually use it.
Okay.
You also had a chat with Liquibase folks from the company.
Indeed, they said like majority would actually rely on the backups anyway. So let's see what the audience thinks about rollbacks.
Yeah.
Liquibase.
Yeah. I mean, man, you won't have a single person who did it. Okay, you won't win it. Admit it.
Let's
Like,
see.
regarding rollbacks.
I was pretty
Flyway.
confident people would vote for me this time.
Yeah, I mean,
Ah.
you go. Otherwise, you wouldn't go for Flyway, right?
Damn. I lost all the faith.
I mean, are we finished? I guess we are.
Kinda. It should be simple. Let's see. Okay. Have to change the screen sometimes.
Yes.
Let's talk about versioning scheme.
So yeah, let's talk about versioning. Since we roll back things, since we migrate things, there should be some kind of changelog. There should be some scheme of versioning, right? How does it work for you, by the way?
So we have naming conventions for the migration files in Flyway, and V stands for.
V for?
I thought it would be.
They're too young.
Too young to know the movie.
V for Vendetta. Come on.
Yeah. Okay. So V for the migrations, R for repeated migrations. Do you know what they are? Do you know what they are?
I know what they are because we heard the talk. But okay, V stands for consistency here.
Yes. Could have been M.
Yeah,
I think
anything.
instead, but you can change that. There is a configuration to change all of this.
Don't spoil it.
Very configurable.
Don't spoil it.
Okay, so what are the repeated migrations? The migrations that will be run on every update. Well, everything you need to do is to update this file, change its checksum, or for instance, you're changing the version of the application and you are holding it in the database.
We need to explain the use case. Why do they even need a version of application in the database?
Why?
Because in the interface, if it's an application, not a website, you probably want to show a current version to user so they could get help from support team or something like that.
Indeed. Or you can change or trigger the update of the timestamp using this kind of inline comment.
These Flyway folks are kind of tricky. They didn't have any special SQL syntax, but suddenly there are special SQL comments. How is better than Liquibase exactly? You're all voting for Flyway. I saw you.
What I like here is that you change the checksum of this file just by keeping this timestamp comment in and not actually changing. Maybe you're not changing the version.
Yeah, this might be true.
Or you can actually have the other placeholders that are documented and then just insert that value, a git hash, for instance.
I like it. It's very clear.
And we also have another migration type called baseline.
It is already complicated, 3 times of migration, so what?
Okay, what are the baseline migrations? Well, while developing the applications, do you have to even think of the final version of the database that you will ship?
I can't. I can't predict how my database will be shaped.
Yeah, so there could be like many different migrations that you do in development, but at the end you need some kind of a baseline that will be shipped. And in this case, we will check the meta information in the database
Yep.
and just update up till the baseline migration and skip the V migrations.
Okay, what if you have V migrations after baseline?
That's a good question.
How will it work for you?
Do you know?
Who knows? Oh, nobody knows. Actually, if
Have
you
to check the documentation.
Yeah, if you have V migrations executed after B migrations, baseline migrations won't be applied anymore. So the only place where you can actually use baseline migrations is on an empty database, or like database that wasn't touched by Flyway yet. So baseline migrations are kind of fake.
Okay. Well, and after B we have U migrations.
I thought that undo is a lie. Rollbacks do not exist. What was all this talk?
You know about the undo migrations in Flyway?
Who uses undo migrations in Flyway?
Because everybody is using the free version, and that's part of the Teams plan,
Teams edition, yeah.
which is the most expensive one. And
Is it? No, it's the second.
oh, so the second. Yeah, indeed. So probably customers just want the checkboxes when they select the 2 tools and compare them feature by feature,
So
and
your
to
excuses-
give some extra weight for the salespeople. We added this U migrations into Flyway.
So your excuse is, our clients our products are so close that people were actually choosing Liquibase over Flyway only because of undo migrations. And now Flyway is essentially equal to Liquibase. It's an interesting view.
Yeah. So how do you do that? What's
Well-
up with, you see, we have straightforward way of naming V, R, B,
Yeah, V for
U.
consistency, I remember. Well, it is kind of straightforward if you mean like 2,000 files in one folder, as straightforward. Yeah, if it's a list view, it's obviously straightforward. For us, in Liquibase, you can do whatever you want. Like, for example, if you come from the Flyway background, you can organize your migrations this way, just a flat changelog, and the only common denominator there is dbchangelog.xml, which lists all the migration there. So it can be 2,000 files at the same place. They will be kind of universal, but also you can organize your files better if you, whatever your definition of better is, different databases in different folders, different types of migrations in different, like schema migrations, data migrations, indices in different folders. They all are legal. You can even mix types of migrations. Some of them might be in JSON, some of them, JSON migrations, right? In SQL, some of them in XML, and again, dbchangelog XML will be your common denominator here.
Okay, so it's always 2,000 plus 1 file.
Yes. But you were speaking about repeatable
Checksums
migrations.
and repeatable migrations, and we mentioned checksums there. That's a very important
Part of versioning.
Part of versioning, because we need to know what version is in the database, what migrations have been executed. Therefore, well, we strictly rely on checksums here.
So I like this approach. You're saying that our migrations are the single source of truth. This is what our database is. And I like it. I like it, but the world is deeply imperfect. Imagine one day you decided to convert your files from UTF-8 encoding to UTF-16 encoding. Suddenly all the checksums are broken. And in Flyway, you do not have any way to update them, while in Liquibase you can actually skip them altogether or update them automatically, or you decide to retroactively change one of migrations because you found that on the newer version of database, some migration won't work. You
So-
update it in a backwards compatible way and update one checksum, and everything works with Liquibase.
Okay, so we have two different views on this. We think that in Flyway it's more strict, and that's why it's better. And
Here everything is flexible in Liquibase. And now it's round. Please vote. So what do you think?
of course,
Come.
Flyway.
No,
Of course,
no. I still. Oh, no, man. I was afraid here. So it's 2-1 for Liquibase now.
Wait. We have more time here. Like,
Yes,
just
yes,
Flyway folks are
that's
just
true.
waking up.
Yes, that's true. I thought that when everything is so straightforward, everything should be fast. But
All right. Let's go.
yes.
So what about learning those tools? How did you learn?
So, well, we should admit, learning curve for Liquibase is slightly steeper. This is because it has a great flexibility you just saw and you will see. You obviously need to learn supported languages like YAML, XML, JSON, whatever, and choose between them. Then you need to make conscious choice for your particular project, your particular team, and your particular organization, what works best for you.
And then you change the organization.
And then you change the organization. Yeah, and you have to relearn. Well, you know all the basics at this point. It's not like you have to learn a new SQL dialect every new time. Everything is declarative, right?
What if it's YAML and on the next project it's XML and the
But
next
they
project is
essentially-
Groovy?
If it's Groovy, it is an interesting case. Who uses Groovy for Liquibase?
No, but
Yeah,
okay, that's why I
okay.
didn't know.
That's clearly not the case. But you will have to invest to invent best practices for your team, which is a bit of work, like you do for style guides for Java and Kotlin, right?
Okay, well, in Flyway, you don't have to invent the best practices. They are invented for you. You just learn SQL. You'll know that already. You are at Java conference. You are all Java developers, so you don't really need to learn Java. That's it.
Yes. I mean, this is simple. Do you think you will win?
This one,
Let's see.
this one you cannot beat.
It should be a simple round. Let's see. Okay. Wow. Oh. We still have a chance, right?
No.
I know we still have a chance.
No. I mean,
No, you're twice better. It's hard to beat. Why? I mean, do you really like to read all this change log?
do you
Huge-
really like to learn every time?
I actually like to learn. It was a very bad question. Programming is about learning new stuff.
Okay. All right, let's go further. So, let's talk about more complicated stuff.
Yes.
So, there is a thing called preconditions when you want to run a migration based on some events, condition,
Some condition. obviously.
precondition.
Yes.
It's in the name.
Yes.
Let's look at this example here. So there is a comment first. Flyway precondition to check if the application version table exists. And then if this precondition succeeds, we're going to run the migration. And how the precondition is implemented, it's in the upcoming 3 comments. So first, the precondition name. Well, we could have omitted the first comment. It's just
Yes.
for an example.
First one is not something really necessary.
Yeah.
You can omit it.
But then there is a special word precondition that refers to precondition name, then just
Which
a text.
will be safe inside the database.
Then it's a kind of condition what should happen if
It fails.
it fails, a warning message in this case, and then the precondition statement itself. And it's very simple. If it returns 0, then
It's false.
it's succeeded. Oh no, yeah,
It's
it's
false.
like C, like it's false.
Yes,
So
it's false.
if
Everything
it-
else is true.
Everything is else. If you have programmed in C, it's pretty much the same. So 129 will be true,
Yes.
and then we execute the migration.
I like it. It is so clean. It is so understandable. It's almost like Liquibase. By the way, speaking about Liquibase, how do you manage multiple kinds of database? What if you need to support PostgreSQL and MySQL in the same?
That's a punch. That's a punch. Well, we are engineers. We can create elegant solutions. And well, you check the website. How do they offer to do this kind of things? Do some PowerShell, do some Bash, put the migrations in different folders, change the folder, execute the migrations.
So elegant, straightforward way, as always with Flyway.
Engineering approach.
Engineering approach with PowerShell, really? Like, come on. By the way, this is not even a snippet of code, it's just a picture on their site. They hate it, obviously, and they hate their developers, which I can understand because this is how it is done normally. You have one precondition with this or connector, no, not connector. So inside or, you can say that if the database is PostgreSQL and expected result is 1, it's not your C style. You can explicitly say that we expect this number on this string on something else. Please execute this SQL. On MySQL, you will execute this SQL. They're essentially the same because PostgreSQL got its information schema idea from MySQL. And if it's Oracle, then precondition will be written in completely different way. Select count from user tables where table name equals app version. And then, since everything is declarative, and it is the beauty of it, we just have one statement. Well, one part of XML, which is universal. It will be executed on any database.
Okay, so what's the summary here?
For you,
We say it's simple, not limited. It's simple. We just run the statements.
yeah, this
There's
is what you
just
do.
a single thing to check. If it's the condition is 0 or not, we execute it. For complex situations, we can use Java.
Yes.
Just
For multiple databases,
well,
PowerShell.
use like engineering approach right there.
Yeah. So for us, it's just built in. It's actually batteries included. I know you probably don't like Python, but this part is very powerful in Liquibase. We can do anything we want. XML, SQL, whatever you need.
So it's power against simplicity this time.
Yeah.
And let's go and check what the audience thinks.
Round. Well,
Oh, it should be simple.
it should be simple. And the choice was clearly simple. It is Liquibase. I mean, it's 3-2.
Okay.
I mean, how many people will change their migration tool on their next project?
Nice. Okay, let's see. So let's talk about more use cases. Diff support.
Oh, this is one where I shine. This is the one. So you're developing your stuff. You do random changes to a database, add columns, remove columns, rename columns, whatever. And then, when you think you are finished, you just do diff change log command, and you compare your actual state of your development database to staging, for example, which is kind of like production. And you've got beautiful change log that says what exactly was changed in comparison to production, and you use it. You don't even need to write any code. One comment and it's done for you. How is it on your side?
We do have that in the enterprise version, but I haven't seen it. You probably haven't seen it as well. But we have.
This is the expensive one, right?
Yeah, that's the most expensive one. But we have tools for that. And if you are an IntelliJ user, and you are an IntelliJ user, there is a plugin called JPA Buddy that can generate this kind of things for me.
For Ultimate only.
Yes.
For Ultimate only. You will still have to pay.
Much cheaper.
Yes, that's true.
Okay, so I admit, like you probably are better in this case, but
Round. Well,
I still have some
Well.
hands.
yes, but we knew. Frankly, we knew. It's 4-2 at this point.
All right.
Can we
that's
call ourselves heavyweight, by the way?
heavyweight?
I'm 92. You
I will not say.
are you still in heavyweight or super heavyweight?
Super heavyweight.
Okay.
Okay, let's go further.
So next time I will take I will take
Let's
flyweight.
talk about configuration. Well, really?
I mean, what exactly are we talking about?
Yeah, I don't know what kind of things I need to configure in. What
Well-
do you have exactly in mind when you talk about
I
the
have a lot of
configurations?
things to say about configuration. For example, well, we can configure a lot of things. There are hundreds of settings. Some of them are very simple, like, for example, we have this migration, and we have this setting right in our changelog, running transaction equals false. So we can say that our changelog should not be transactional for whatever reasons.
Why do you even have to think about it?
So I have to think about it because in MySQL, for example, DDL, so like creation of tables, is you can't run it in transaction. It's forbidden by the database itself. So I will put it here saying that I shouldn't run it in transaction. Obviously, I can run into some troubles with it if I have an error in my migration. Previous statement insert into the table name, some table name, it won't be rolled back, which is a bad thing. On the other hand, if my create table is not rolled back, then why do I even care?
Well,
Can you at least do this?
on the other hand, doesn't the tool know which database it's running on?
You kind of caught me here. I don't know, like, so they should know. They obviously know specifics of databases. They can run database-specific migrations. Why they don't know that create table is not transactional, why they won't just execute it outside of transaction is a little bit unclear. Maybe they wanted to be explicit. Like, you should know what you're doing. You should know that this create table won't be rolled back in MySQL.
Okay, in Flyway, we actually can do that as well. We have a system of configuration files. Basically, that's the single configuration file that will be discovered based on the hierarchy
Yep.
file of the file system, either in the machine, user directory, project directory, folder, overridden by system property or whatnot. And there we can set for this use case that you just explained, we can set the mixed property to true.
What is mixed?
C stands for consistency in here, like mixed.
Mixed what?
Whatever.
Mixed martial arts?
Mixed transactions. Indeed. So
Okay.
it's an implied or like hidden name here. So then we can use another meta property inside the migration files and say, okay, this file is going to be transactional, and the other way of saying it is saying non-transactional.
You skip this one.
Yes, exactly, this one. So we can do pretty much the same things here, and well, we don't really have to configure a lot.
I want to say it escalates quickly. Recently, he had no information in his SQL whatsoever. Now there are probably like 4 lines of weird preconditions in 3 lines, transaction, not transaction, on the 4th line, maybe something else, I don't even know.
But it's all consistent.
Kinda. I do agree here. You can't do this in Java though. Like you can, but in a completely different way.
Indeed.
But
So there are more configuration options, but we won't spend
did I?
time. No, it's fine. It's
It
fine. It's
was
okay.
fine?
Yeah, it's fine. Like, let's vote. But while they are voting, we're gonna speak
Yep.
that there is a lot of configurations, right? But we just don't
For
go
you,
there.
it's not. For you,
For me, no.
What do you actually can configure?
The naming conventions of the file, I can actually configure cherry picks,
What?
which migrations to run exactly.
Gosh, I
The
thought it's
first one, the
straightforward.
second one, the fifth one.
Yeah, it makes sense because everything is straightforward. We have V1, V2, V5. Now you rename them to M for migration because it's an obvious rename. Everyone would do it. And now you apply only 1, 2, and 5 because you have. It's not that straightforward at the end of the day. Okay. I'm clearly winning.
Okay.
By the way,
Let's
Liquibase
so-
has abundance of options, and some of them are actually dangerous. Probably they want to revolt now.
So, approach to changes.
Yes. What
The-
about it?
The different tools have different approaches here.
What do you?
They are kind of similar in a way, but Flyway is just simple. You execute your SQL.
Well, until you cherry pick, then you just
Then
not
you-
just
then-
execute the
Then
SQL.
you can figure something, and
For
everything else.
Liquibase, it's more interesting. Liquibase can actually analyze the state of the database and decide if something is possible or not. So if we are creating a column inside the table which doesn't exist, it will throw an exception, not a database exception, but Liquibase exception. This table does not exist, or this change is not possible, something like this. And yes, we can obviously write pre-checks, conditions, and well, we can just do a lot of things here. So let's vote. Oh, what? Did you forget to change the slide? You probably did.
No.
No, but it was full. Like something is obviously wrong.
Maybe a glitch.
Yeah, sorry, folks. But let's vote here because I like the results.
Let's see.
I'm still winning.
No, there was like 50-50 in the beginning, so either
Was
it's
it?
just yeah.
Okay. I think we finished. By the way, we
Right.
had to replace percents with actual counts.
Okay.
Just to
So
show.
what's the score? What's the score right now?
What's it 6-2 right now? 5-2? Who remembers? Something like that.
Anyways, you're winning. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm
And
there.
that was actually the last round, but
Almost. Like, yeah, but we are still waiting for the final judgment, right?
indeed. So since it was the final one, let's make a summary here. That's the final score. We have 5-2, whatever.
Yes.
But we have a simple tool and a sophisticated tool.
So what's your philosophy?
I think the tool should be simple. It just should be straightforward. It shouldn't force you into different styles, and you should just learn it once and use it.
The tool should be simple. The tool should be simply effective, not for an abstract use case which Redgate invented. For you, it requires some knowledge, obviously, but it's up to you to decide how to use it. And at this point,
Let's do a final vote.
yeah, our
For the
final
whole
vote.
thing, what would you use on the next project?
Yeah, on the next project, probably based on this presentation, probably we changed your mind.
Probably
Hopefully.
not. Probably will come to us and say we did it wrong.
Yeah, we would love to hear some feedback. Oh, this is so
No.
tough.
No. Please make it even.
Like it would be really nice. It would be a really nice outcome.
But it was so close.
Yeah, it is really close. Which means that both tools have their own niches, and I love it. That's why they both exist. But now, hopefully, you have more information to make a conscious choice about tools, and not just follow the lead of.
Raise your hand
Us.
if you learned something new at this
Who learned?
presentation. Perfect.
Yes.
That's so present. Yeah. High five here. Thank you very much for coming. I hope you will have very nice rest of the conference and enjoy.
See you around.